So there's a shit ton of talk about ketosis. There's this new thing called ketosis, and it's when your body eats its own fat. Oh my god, it's crazy. Um, but I've been in ketosis, and okay, it makes you feel really shitty, really shitty. It makes everything super hard. You don't want to move at all. You feel physically drained, but more mentally drained because the carbs actually help your thought process. But it does after the first week, or maybe even two. It does. Your body does adjust to it, and you won't be as fatigued, but you will still be really tired, and you'll start thinking a lot better because your body, even your mind's going to be run off these ketones because you don't have any carbs. You're gonna be really zoned for a while, especially if you're in school. You'll notice you're just zoned out, but that'll get better after a week or two, and your body adjusts to using them ketones instead of the carbs. One thing it does do, it really suppresses your hunger. You're not taking in carbs. It's almost like your stomach isn't growling. It's not like you're not hungry and your stomach's always growling. It's something strange. It's like yeah, you just don't really feel hungry that much. It's your body kind of just adapts to the no carbs and lives off the ketones. I really don't know much about why it suppresses your hunger, but it does a pretty good job of that. But I actually came off the ketosis diet not too long ago, and I didn't really change my diet that much. But I guess there's you can't go over. I've heard you can't go over 100 carbs, you can't go over 50 carbs, you can't go over 30 carbs, you need 0 carbs. I would say, this is my opinion, I haven't researched anything. I think 100 carbs will definitely kick you out. 75 is way too much. 50 is still too much. I was probably at around, I would say 15 to 20 grams of carbs a day, and the only time I was ever getting carbs was from peanut butter has 11 grams of carbs. So if I ever had a serving of peanut butter, it'd be 11 grams of carbs. Some fats just have carbs in them, so it's not like I was actually eating fruits and vegetables, oats, cereal, chips, anything like that. It's just some stuff has carbs. Even chicken breast might have 2 grams of carbs, and you really have to add that up, because if I had some 2 servings of peanut butter, a couple servings of chicken, 2 servings of peanut, that's 20 something carbs right there, plus that could be over 40 grams of carbs right there. So you can't just assume. You really have to keep track of how many carbs. You have to write it down and keep the serving size pretty exact, so you know that you're going to go in ketosis, because one day you might eat more carbs and it might kick you out and you might not even realize it. But I think if you stay at 20 to 30, maybe even 50, depending on how big you are. I think it really depends on your body size and how much body fat you actually have to burn. But I think if you ate 75 one day, you would be fine. But if you did that continuously, your body would be kicked out of ketosis. And I've actually heard that if you eat, let's say 25 grams before you work out, and then 25 grams after, it's almost like 25 grams you put before didn't happen because you burned it all off, and the 25 grams after is kind of used for repairing processes. So I've heard that you don't really have to count those two, but you can never be sure. You could, if you did that, you might not even ever get in ketosis. So I'm not sure if that is true. You might want to research that a little bit. And, you can go inside Walgreens and get the ketone test strips for $13. And they'll show you how much you're pissing in ketones. But I was in ketosis, but it took me a couple times to pee on them fuckers to show up. So I think if you do it after a workout, you kind of used all the ketones, so they're not going to go through your urine anymore. You kind of used them all up and you drained yourself of them, so you have to wait to produce them more. So I wouldn't really do it before or after a workout, because you might not have any. I would do it a couple times throughout the day and see where you're when you're producing the most ketones, and maybe when you wake up might be, I'm not sure. So might have to play around with that a little bit. But that's what I know about ketosis. And you get bad breath, and you get like a cotton mouth feeling every morning. It's really gross. I'm trying to think what else I endured during this ketosis, fat burning ketosis. But alright, yeah, that's ketosis right there. And I came off the diet and actually started taking in around, more towards, I would say 75 to 100 grams of carbs. But these carbs weren't, oatmeal, they weren't, sweet potatoes, they weren't, I don't know, they weren't cereals, bread, rice, they weren't those. It was strictly vegetables and fiber, anything with high in fiber. So what I was eating a lot of pumpkin, really high in fiber, low calories, about 40 calories a serving, half a cup. I was eating a ton of broccoli, celery stew, pretty good, cauliflower, any good vegetable, and a lot of leafy greens like spinach, which is actually really high in protein, and a lot of lettuce and stuff. Don't be getting all that fatty dressings. But anyway, so I switched it up to having a more of a carb diet, and what that did was it actually made me feel a lot more satisfied when I ate. Just that little bit of broccoli with that chicken breast, and the salad, it really did fill you up a lot, and that water weight, and you have a cup of water with it, yeah, you're gonna be feeling pretty full. So it made me more satisfied. So I kind of I wasn't so hesitant to come off of it. It was more like I didn't have to think about I want that cake. I didn't have to think about that because I was full and I was satisfied. I didn't need anything else to eat. And that was actually a big thing. And just that 100 grams of carbs made a difference. I had a lot more energy, and I planned it around my workout, so it's almost like I was on the same diet, because I know I burned all vegetables are actually really easy burned off. So I know when I would eat some to go work out, I would easily burn that off quick, and then afterwards I would probably have more vegetables and this nutrient packed. So I mean, there's nothing I had to lose. There was nothing that I could have been doing wrong, really. You're just eating vegetables. I mean, and what I did notice, I couldn't really even tell you if it was any different from the keto diet, except I had a lot more energy. I mean, the results came just as quick, and I think that's because they're all all the carbs I was eating wasn't hard to digest carbs like oatmeal and stuff. It was vegetables that were easily burned off, and they make you feel full too. So the keto diet, I think, is overrated, just because it's really hard to stick on, and it makes you really drained when you could just eat some vegetables with the meal and feel 10 times better and just get the same amount of results. So if you're thinking about doing the keto diet, I would definitely suggest follow the keto diet, but just I would restrict your carbs to 100 grams. You're probably not going to go into ketosis with 100 grams, but I mean, you're still going to lose weight. It's not like you have to go into ketosis to burn fat. I mean, if you're under your calorie, you're going to a calorie deficit, you're going to burn your fat anyways. The ketosis just makes it almost makes it sound like it's so amazing because it burns your fat. Any diet will burn your fat if you're going into caloric deficit, but it's just that it produces ketones that eats the fat, which I think ketosis is just really overrated, and I probably would never actually go on that ketosis diet again. I would just switch over to vegetables. I love vegetables. I have this 0-calorie cheese salt, nacho cheese salt. Makes everything taste so good. So I would never give that up to just eat chicken breast all day. No way. So that's my insight on ketosis.